Hello, great people. Welcome back to our channel. We're so excited to have you again. The D-Day is here where the 13 PDP governors will be meeting with Damagum National Working Committee. Don't forget that right now there's a lot of waha going on, considering the fact that there is a newly appointed acting chairman of the People Democratic Party in the person of Yayari Mohammed, and that is causing a lot of issues right now. A decision is going to be taken today, but then let's get to hear from one of the stakeholders who will be attending the meeting, though he said that his status should not be mentioned even, but you get to hear a lot of things that he has to say. Meanwhile, in another related development, Fayose has spoken up concerning the threat of Wike to all the PDP state governor, where he says anyone who tries to intervene in the issues in Rivers State is that he's going to put fire in their state. You get to hear what Fayose, the former governor of Ekiti State, have to tell the governors. But first of all, let's look at what is going to be happening today, which most people believe there's going to be a showdown. According to the news, the 13 People Democratic Party governors will meet today to discuss the party internal crisis, which took a deeper turn on Friday following the emergence of a factional PDP national chairman, Alhaji Yayari Mohammed. Has been reported that the move to relieve the PDP acting national chairman Umar Damagum of his duties has split the People Democratic Party governors, with the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, Bala Mohammed, leading 6 other governors pushing for Damagum's ouster. A source who spoke under the condition of anonymity stated the main agenda of the governors' meeting today is possible reconciliation of Damagum, who is an ally of the FCT minister Nyesom Wike, and the factional chairman Yayari Mohammed Kam. According to him, he says the governors will meet on Monday. In their meeting, they will review actions taken by both groups, namely the Damagum and Mohammed faction of the National Working Committee. There will be extensive discussion about last week's suspension. From what I have gathered, they will decide whether to uphold or cancel the suspension from both camps, which may lead to voting among them. They will have to decide the fate of both factions of the National Working Committee, as this will determine which faction will chair the October 24th National Executive Committee, and will also significantly impact whether the NEC meeting will proceed. Essentially, the NWC and the NEC are the major issues that the governors will address. Though the governors are also divided, as you are aware, Bauchi governor and a few others are against Wike ally Damagum. Meanwhile, Makinde, Fintiri, Mofwang are leading the pro-Damagum faction. Despite the division, they will engage in a heart-to-heart conversation and attempt to reach a conclusion on the genuine National Working Committee leadership and ensure the NEC meeting is held as scheduled. Another party chieftain also told the aforementioned publication that the governors will be attempting to dose the tension in the party. According to the source, he says that the governors are meeting tomorrow, which is today, and the main agenda is to find a solution to some of the issues affecting the People Democratic Party at all levels. What they will do is agree on a framework that captures the interests of both groups and all stakeholders, helping to assure tension so they can recommit to the party's leadership. The October 24th NEC meeting will be held as scheduled. It is cast on stone and will proceed. Meanwhile, in a related development, the former governor of Ekiti State has opined that the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, can only set fire on states where the governors are not in total control. Can we recall that Wike, while speaking weeks back at the People Democratic Party Secretariat in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital, during the party state congress, warned the party governors to stay clear of the political affairs in Rivers State. He threatened to set fire and cause political crisis in the state of any PDP governor pursuing for the Rivers State governor, similarly Fubara, to take over the structure of the party in the state. However, speaking, Fayose, the former governor of Ekiti, stated that such fire cannot burn in a state where the governor has nothing to hide. According to him, when a governor has a grip on his state, he has nothing to fear. In his word, he said, as a sitting governor, when I was governor of Ekiti State, I had nothing to fear. If a governor or former governor says he will put fire in my state, it's either I am not strong at home or I have lost control in my state. Then I have a lot to fear. I speak my mind and I don't hide it. You can tell my position. The moment you have a grip of your state, you have nothing to hide. But the moment you don't have a grip of your state, obviously, you have a lot in your hands to be afraid of. Those were the word of Fayose. My colleague is in the house. We just want to talk about today's meeting, especially the fact that the PDP Governors Forum are already divided among themselves. They're just stating, but right now everyone seems to be taking different position. There is a pro-Damagum faction, and we also have an anti-Damagum faction. Those who are seeking to see his removal already in the National Working Committee, they have taken, the two factions are already standing against each other, talking about the Damagum faction and the Yayari Mohammed faction, which is the new, acting chairman of the party. What's your position in respect to all of this?
Of course, we are expecting fireworks today. Excuse me. I will not be surprised if it takes a different turn. Don't forget that just some few hours ago, it's become a norm, really, that Seyi Makinde now keeps inviting Adeleke to almost all his commissioning. And don't also forget that Adeleke had taken a stand this time around in favor of Fubara. Not really in favor now, but in favor of the constitution of PDP. Because all of this whole Wike fire in the states and all that has to do with the fact that Wike wants a situation where Damagum will stay, and Damagum is actually, working in his favor, so that the Congress he held in a Rivers State will stand. As we speak, as it stands right now, before, of course, because politics is allowed, you don't even know the dimension of politics that is being played within the rank and file of the PDP Governors Forum. Internal politics is going on. Seyi Makinde may possibly be stretching out his hands to see how he can, reach out to those who are not in his camp or in the G5 camp. I think he's the only surviving governor in that G5 camp in this particular dispensation. And that's why it's almost a bit difficult for him to totally get the hold of the Governors Forum. But as he stands before they enter the meeting, about 9 of them are standing. Of course, they're standing in watch. Now, these 9 governors are standing with Fubara and also standing with the constitution, upholding the constitution of PDP. And these governors are Siminalayi Fubara of Rivers State, Diri of Bayelsa State, Godwin Obaseki of Edo State, Honorable Sheriff of Delta State, Kefas of Taraba State, Dauda Lawal of Zamfara State, Peter Mba of Enugu State, Ademola Adeleke of Osun State, and Pastor Omoreno of Akwa Ibom State. All of these 9 are standing strong. And Bala Mohammed, of course, of Bauchi State, are standing strong for the People's Democratic Party, upholding their principles and constitution. Now, how many are they literally? So they still have an upper hand and upper state. But how it will play out, don't forget that internal politics are still going on before this meeting. But how it will come out, no one can tell.
All right. Now, interestingly, Fayose had spoken about the need not to fear if you're in charge, that if we can promise to put fire in your state, if you're in charge, there's nothing to fear. Is it really good for a party member to talk about putting fire in another man's state just because of, move towards resolving an issue which is already clearly stated on the Constitution?
Now, let's come from another angle very quickly. There's this rumor we are hearing right now from some of the sources from Pro-Wike group in this particular meeting that they're also looking at sanctioning in the NEC meeting that is upcoming 24th of October. They're looking at sanctioning Bala Mohammed too for anti-party moves, being that he also went in and endorsed the inauguration of APP local government chairman that Fubara, according to them, handed over the structure of PDP to APP, now, which is anti-party according to them.
Okay, now I'm sorry. Let me ask a question here. What did they really expect him to do? He gave an open floor for everyone to participate in the election. PDP rescind. They refuse to be part of it.
Now,
APC,
if you're coming from that
the
angle,
interest of the people must be considered before the party
now,
interest.
if you're coming from that angle, Wike will say, should they have been shouting that he is doing anti-party? Nigerian interest must come first. That APC wanted him to come into APC, not really come into their government, because he has what it takes to give dividends of democracy, and that's why he is FCT minister, not because he parted with a PDP. So they all seem to have the real reason where you can't hold them. You can't hold it against them that they're doing any anti-party politics.
But I think these two cases are quite different. First of all, in 2023, there was an election, and during that election, Wike came out openly and promised that though PDP was on the tablet, that's though PDP was part of the presidential election, that he would not allow PDP to win. So that was a clear-cut fight against. In the case of Fubara here, Fubara gave PDP an opportunity to give representation during the election, and PDP said they're not going to be part of it. Why? Because Wike and whoever had issues with him, and guess what, he cannot, because of the fact that he respects the Supreme Court order. There is no way he can continue sitting back to look, because if he declines, the state which he's representing and the local government in itself is going to suffer. Possibly they are not going to pay them the next salary. So what did he do? He went ahead. So it was a case of PDP by themselves declining. But the case of Wike, PDP was in the poll, and he said even till today that he's not apologizing for fighting against PDP.
Okay, let me just speak not for him now, but let me also speak because this is probably the answer he's going to give. He will tell you that it's a case of Inyendeba. He believes that there's an unwritten constitution where if it's the term of the North, if it's the turn of the South, the North should obey that unwritten constitution, of which Atiku did not. And to him, what he did was strictly based on the interest of Nigeria and integrity. That some persons are not obeying or are not following the unwritten constitution was against Nigerians, and he decided with his integrity group, quote unquote, which is the G5 governors then, decided to stand against Atiku. And if you watch, he will tell you that he went ahead and delivered PDP on every form, but definitely not PDP in a presidential, because Atiku was going against the written constitution, and him as a governor, as a politician, cannot stand it. So he's coming from the angle of integrity.
No, if you're coming from the angle of integrity, you must try to play fair in the sense that I would not be involved in anything that has to do with presidential election. Reason because there was disobedience against this thing. So which means I'm removing my hand and I am going to allow the election to flow normally as it should. Because we all know that if that election in Rivers State had been given that chance, fairness was allowed on the part of Wike, we are so sure that the person of Labour Party would have won that elections hands down. But he deliberately decided to he used that word, work for APC. He worked for APC, that's Bola Tinubu. And we know so much about that story that there was a lot of issue, changing calls and all of that. Some of them will play out, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Finally, it was handed over. We saw mutilated the results here and there in the party. So if you're talking about the issue of fairness, okay, because you did not allow opportunity for the South to feature for presidency in PDP, I'm going to hands off. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to allow the election to play out itself. Whoever the people want to vote, let them vote. But I'm not going to go the extra mile to make PDP win in my state. I'm going to hands off. That would have been ideal. But he said that he worked for. That is the way they should be. Now, for example, the issue that the case that took place here in Rivers State, you will not even, despite the fact that this guy said, okay, since PDP is not going to be part of the election, okay, let me allow the whole thing to show. What he did, that's talking about Fubara. Fubara hand off. And APP, however they did it, we don't know. But he never used his mouth to say that I made sure, I work for these people. That's the highest level of high-handedness.
Oh, well, but what I do know is that anybody who comes to equity, he who comes to equity must come with clean hands.
Yes.
Well, let's see how it plays out, because one thing is certain, there's going to be fireworks today.
All right, though. That's